I'm just going to make sure. Okay. So, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Is everything going all right?
It's going.
It's going. Okay. So I just want to start with that I'm a student from St. Francis. So I am not a case manager here. I'm just doing the intake, and they will move you to a case manager. But if you were to tell me anything that may harm you, yourself, or others, that is something we would have to report. And I would also have to tell my teacher, my professor for this class. This is my senior practicum, so I am graduating in December, which is exciting. But I just wanted to let you know that I am a student, so there is the possibility that information may be reported to my teacher, but I won't tell her anything unless you tell me something that may harm yourself or others. And then once they move you to a case manager, she'll have won't have the same spiel as me because she won't be a student. But so if you just want to sign and date right there, I'll give you that. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you some simple intake questions. If you are not comfortable answering any of the questions, that's fine. You can tell me no, or you can just say it doesn't apply, whatever you're comfortable with. So I won't, we don't prod for information because we are, can't think of the right word right now. Because we're an involuntary service, we don't prod for information. It's what you're willing to give us. Okay? So, if you want to give me your first name, Alice. Okay. And Alice, where do you live?
123 ABC Street, Fort Wayne.
Okay. And that's in Indiana, because that's where we're at right now. And your zip code?
46804.
46804. Okay. And that's in Allen County. And do you have a birthday date for me?
4/22/94.
4/22?
Yes.
Okay. So that makes you 22. And you're female. And do you have a phone number you want to give me?
No.
No. Okay. And can you tell me your race or ethnicity? Caucasian? Okay. And if you're comfortable answering it, were you ever abused as a child, either physically or sexually or any other types?
No, I was not.
No. Okay. Okay. And I remember from when we were on the phone that you did say you had a child.
Correct.
Okay. And if you could give me the name of the child.
Caden.
Okay. And can you give me a birthday date? Date of birth, I guess.
10/4/2015.
All right. And is Caden a male?
Yes.
Okay. And is Caden also Caucasian?
Correct.
Okay. And has Caden ever seen the abuse?
Yes.
Yes, he has. Okay. Okay, so I do need to tell you, since Caden's seen the abuse, that I will have to make a DCS report, which will then, I will have to tell my teacher that I made that DCS report. So, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the next question I'm going to ask you is about income. And like I said, if you're comfortable supplying the information, you can tell me. If not, that's okay too. So, do you have any type of job right now, or
No.
No. Okay. So unemployment. Okay. And do you receive like food stamps, TANF, SSI, or child
No, I do
support?
not.
No, you do not. Okay. And do you have any Medicaid or Medicare or WIC or anything like that? No. Okay. Let's see. And For head of household, were you living with the abuser or were you living by yourself?
Living with.
Living with, okay. So you would say that, were you the head of the household
No.
or no? Okay. Alright. And were you married to your abuser or
Never married.
never married? Okay. And you said you're unemployed. So these don't apply then. And can you tell me the last grade or degree you completed, education-wise?
12th grade.
12th grade? Okay. Okay, so like I keep telling, I just want to reinforce, if you don't want to give the information, you don't have to. Some of these questions might be uncomfortable, but it's just for a safety thing and that type of deal. So, have you ever experienced domestic violence before now? No, you have not. Okay. Have you ever stayed in a shelter or been homeless more than 4 times in the last 3 years? Okay. Has there ever been history of substance abuse? No. Okay. Mental, emotional, or challenged disabilities? No. Okay. Physically or medically challenged or any disabilities in that way? Okay. Are you a veteran?
No.
Okay. And do you live in a rural area? Like in the country?
No.
I mean, since we're in Fort Wayne, that would be a no. And do you have any refugee or immigrant status? No. Okay. And you speak English and you speak clear English, so there's no limited English there. Okay. So the next step we're going to move on to is the name of your abuser, if you're okay with that, and giving information on your abuser.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. So can you tell me his name? Brandon. And how old is Brandon? 23. And he's a male. And do you know his race? Caucasian. And is Brandon, do you know any source of income for Brandon, whether it's employment or TNF or food stamps or anything like that?
No.
No, okay. Okay. And relationship to you, so you said that you haven't been married, so is he an intimate partner then?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know if he was abused as a child?
I am not sure.
Okay. Do you know if he has any substance abuse history?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna move into the incident that has brought you into here. So I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions to finish this up, and then we're gonna, if you're okay with it, I'm gonna write down what happened. Okay. So during the incident, or I guess after the incident, was any medical treatment needed? No. Okay. And so you did not receive any then. And can you tell me what type of abuse it was? Was it either like robbery, sexual abuse, stalking, like those different types?
It was physical.
Physical abuse? Okay. And then was there any legal action involved or any cops called?
Yeah.
Yes, they were. Okay. Was there an arrest made?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And do you know if the cops or yourself have charged files against, or have charged him with any crimes?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, that's fine. Are you interested, or do you have a restraining order, protective order, and no contact order with him?
No, I do not.
You do not. Are you interested in those services?
Yes.
Okay. And which service would you like? we are able to help with any of those forms. The protective order. The protective order is. Goodness, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We provide information to help you get a protective order. They're really simple in a way. You can apply online, and we can help you through those steps. So is that that would be what you're interested in? Okay. And do you know if there's any substance use during the incident with any drugs or alcohol?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm just going to have you sign this and date it. Thank you very much. Okay, so if you're comfortable with telling me the incident and what happened, I'm just going to write down what you say, and then I'll have you sign it out there. Okay? So what happened the day of the incident?
Brandon came over to my apartment, and we got into an argument over money. I'm trying to save up money to try and move away from Fort Wayne.
Oh.
And I guess that's the reason why he came over, and the argument escalated, and he started hitting me and pushing me up against the wall.
Okay.
Was screaming.
Okay.
I didn't call the cops.
You did.
The neighbors did.
The neighbors called the cops. Okay. Sorry, I know this is a lot of writing. We just have to have everything documented.
I guess I should have talked to him.
No, you're okay. No, you are perfectly fine. Okay. All right. And then, do you know what day that happened on?
I'm not.
You're not sure?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Don't worry about that. And you said this happened at your apartment?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, Allison, if you're okay with signing this, I'll just have you sign this quick. And so, the information that was collected through the intake, the first paper we went through, and this will all be put on your folder, and everything's all sealed up. We put it in a secured room, so nobody will have contact or be able to get your information but me or my supervisor if needed. If I'm not in the office and you need help, she'll be the one that would be able to help you in that way. So, if you're comfortable with going over a danger assessment, this just tells us or tells you, and both of us, if how much danger you're possibly in and what could happen. So, if you just want to check yes or no to these ones, and then we can talk about it a little more if you want. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too. So it's just up to you and what you would like to do.
So you just want me to check these?
Yes. Yep.
And if I don't know them?
And if you don't know them, you don't have to answer them. That's okay. And if you have any questions about any of them, just ask me and I can help you with that as well. Thank you. So let's see. Okay. So I guess the important thing for you to know is that because you did check yes for any for 8 out of the 23, that it's not it is a sorry that your situation there is a possibility for the situation to escalate quickly, which is which would then put you and your child in danger. So that's important to know, and that it's also important to know that um, that you recognize these signs and that you know that there is that possibility. So I commend you on knowing these different signs. That's really important to know for your safety. So I wanted to talk to you about community programs since that's what you called about, and just give you some information on that. Community programs is with a case manager. We come out. We can either meet you at our office if you're comfortable coming to our office, or we can meet you out in like say like McDonald's or any like a public or public site. We can be there for you to just talk to us if you just need somebody to talk to. We're there if you need information to get a job. We can help you find a job or do that kind of stuff. We can help with housing. We can, if you need help with finding clothes for you or your son, we can help with that too. We can give you referrals for that. That would just take an informed find consent, so we can release information or a release of information form. So then we have that information to give to, like, say the housing authorities or whatever you may need. So I will give you this sheet. It just tells you the different things that are provided through community programs and what we can do to help you in that way. So before we finish with your intake, there's just a couple sheets I want to go over quick. And we'll go through them quickly because I know we're running out of time. But so this is our cycle of violence. It's a really important thing to know because it tells you like the tension building phase and what the abuser may be doing throughout that phase. So he may begin to blame or threaten you over just like the littlest things, like say the laundry didn't get done and he's going to blame you because you're supposed to do that. So he'll start blaming that way. And so you as the victim, you may try to change. You may try to get the laundry done quickly or before he gets home so he doesn't realize that the laundry's not done. So then after the tension phase or the building phase, the explosion phase happens. And that's when the abuser becomes violent. He starts either like physically abusing, verbally abusing, and he may throw objects. He may use a form of like sexual rape or anything like that. So that's where that comes. You may receive injuries as the victim during this phase. You may feel responsible, and it's important to know that you're not responsible because you didn't do anything for this to happen. And then, so after the explosion phase, the calm phase will happen, and the abuser may deny that he did anything, or he may minimalize, yeah, I think that's the right word, the violence. And he just will tell you, like, oh, it's not as bad as it seems or as bad as it looks. And he may even tell family members that because he doesn't want them to see that he's being abusive towards you. And in this phase, you as the victim may be hopeful for a brighter future, that this may not happen again, that it was just like a one-time experience, something was bothering him that day, and it just happened. But it's important to know that these phases can happen over time. It may take a year. Like he may be in tension phase for 3 months, and then he goes to the explosion phase, and he's there for a day or two. And then you can be in calm phase for the rest of the year, or it can happen multiple times a day, or it can happen over a month. So it just depends on how violent the abuser is, and how how long you've been in a relationship. So that's important to know, and I will give you that paper so you have that. And these two papers are just effects of domestic violence for the victim and the child, who's also considered a victim. Some effects for the children, they may be fearful that the violence may comes toward the child. They may be fearful for their mother. They could be angry at the abuser. They can be guilty because they may think, well, I did something to make dad mad at mom. And so that's definitely something that is hard on children, is the guilt. They may also be confused. They may not understand why it's happening, because if the cycle of violence takes so long to go through, they may be like, okay, well, dad was happy, like, what happened? And so the child could potentially be confused through that. Some effects for victims, you may live in fear, and that's not something that anybody should have to do. Nobody should have to live in fear. You may be guilty, or not be guilty, you may feel guilty that you did something to make him feel that way. You never did. Nobody ever makes anybody be an abuser. Like physical effects, you may have eating disorders, or substance abuse or shock. There may be also behavioral things, such as you may become startled around people. Like if the abuser is physical, which he was towards you, somebody may come up to you and give you a hug, and that might scare you. And that's not your fault. That's because it happened. So it's not your fault, and you shouldn't ever feel like you have to tell people that it was because of the abuser. You don't have to explain your story to anybody. So that's just something important for you to know. So I will give you that. And then I also, it sounds like you know your different types of abuse, but I'm just going to give you the sheet. If you want to read over it, you can read over it. So that's definitely something there for you. And if you have any questions about any of this, don't be afraid to ask me now, or if you don't think of them now and you want to call, don't be afraid to call, and I can definitely help you with some answers. So the one last thing I want to do before we leave is a personal safety plan. We do this through all of our intakes, and it's important to know within a home where it's safe to be during a violent situation, where it's not safe to be. So, like the bathroom, since it's an enclosed area, that's not a safe place to be because you can't get out since he can block you in. Also, like a kitchen, that's not a safe place to be because of knives, or there's potentially a lot of weapons that could be within a kitchen. So do you have a place within your apartment that you can easily exit or get out of, or that you feel safe for you to be in during a violent situation? The living room? Okay. And is that because there's an exit that's easy for you to get out of?
Yeah,
There's two exits. Oh, yeah, that is perfect. Okay. And then, so is there, like I said, is there any rooms that you would want to avoid during an argument?
The bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen.
Bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen. Yep, and a bedroom's definitely a good one to avoid as well. Okay, and so another important thing to know is whenever you're trying to leave a violent situation, you want to have all important documents easily accessible. So your cell phone, your ID, birth certificates, any insurance papers or anything that you may need. Do you have a safe place that you could put that in the living room without the abuser knowing that it's available? Like, do you have a purse or anything that you can put that in? Okay. Okay. And then, is there anybody, like family members or friends, that you feel comfortable enough to tell them what's going on and that you could call for either a ride or somewhere safe to go? No. Okay. Okay.
Not at this moment.
Not at this moment. Okay, that's all right. So for that, you can definitely call us and also call the cops because they all understand that abuse is a very important matter and that the victim is the most important need and that we need to get them out right away. So you can call us at the crisis line. And we will figure out how to help you in that way, or you can call the police. And they, honestly, the cops will be the fastest way to get you out, but they can always bring you to us and we can help you from that situation. Okay? So I think we had a good start on that safety plan. Do you have any questions or concerns for me about anything, community programs, or any of the information I gave you? No? Okay. Is there any goals that you want to get started with, or that you want that I can help you start to figure out?
I guess I'd like to start looking for a job.
Looking for a job. That is a great goal. Okay. Is there a time frame that you're looking for a job?
You mean like
do you
have this goal completed by?
Yeah, or you don't. I mean, you don't have to have it completed by is there like a certain amount of jobs that you want to apply for, or?
I'd like to apply and interview
3 jobs
within this month.
Within this month. Okay, that is a perfect time frame. Okay. Is there any other goals you would like to set for today?
Not for today.
Not for today? Okay, that's fine. And before you leave, can we set up a time to meet again or a phone call? So do you want to do every week, or do you want to do every 2 weeks, or whatever you're comfortable with?
Every week for now.
Every week for now? Okay. All right. And do you just want to meet on a Friday again?
Yeah.
Okay. And does this time work for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any questions for me at all? Anything I can help you with today?
No.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for coming here and letting us help you. I really appreciate the chance to be able to do this for you. So, if there's